I'm here today to honor all our missing and murdered women across Canada. As you know, we did a walk for justice last summer.
Every day we have between 120 to 150 missing person cases.
How many of the cases would be Indigenous women?
I would say at least 95% of the cases.
We need a full national inquiry into the missing and murdered Aboriginal women.
Now we want justice! When do we want it? Now!
We always believe that somebody knows something. We've always said that women, girls, they don't just go missing. Somebody stole them from us.
In the past decade, thousands of Canada's Indigenous women have been murdered or gone missing.
Alrighty, well, welcome everybody, and how are we doing today? We do actually have Lady Eva back. How are ya?
Doing good. All things considered. But I'm doing good.
Well, that's good.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. Well, we all missed you. Same with also underneath our other lady's show, which is the Queen of Booga Booga. She also missed you. So yeah. Anyway, so before we go live with tonight's topic, so what happened really in the hospital to you?
It started out as a small abscess, and it just kind of exploded to about that big. Okay. And I have a wound vac on me, which sucks all the stuff out, bad stuff. And I was in there for 2 months dealing with this. And they had to change it at least every other day. At first, it was every day. And it is healing now. It is much, much smaller. I'm feeling better. And I was doing good until I tripped and hurt myself. But I am doing better. I truly am. And I am hoping that within a very short time, I'll be walking in a much better, much stronger way.
Yes.
Because I have home care with me that's going to help me. So I feel good about that.
Well, that's good. That's good. So you were telling me, though, that you actually experienced like weird stuff in the hospital.
Oh, heavens, yes. The one that got me was I turned around and there were two women who had come in to see us. I recognized them. And behind them was a taller gentleman. And I'm going like 3 at once. And three, what are you talking about? And I looked again and there was no one there. So it was like, all right. And there was a cat that would periodically jump on my bed. And if you've ever had a cat jump on your bed, you know it is a particular sensation, if you will.
Yeah.
That only a cat can do. Dogs can't do it because they're dogs. But cats have that, I don't know what it is, but it definitely was a cat. And I found out later that at the beginning, there were cats in the building.
Okay.
What do they call them? Comfort cats?
Yeah.
There was an awful lot of, how can I say this? Glittering? No, not glittering. Little spots of light that would kind of float in and float out. And then I would see people walking down the halls, and then I would hear them, and then they were gone. So yeah, I heard there was lots of stuff in there. And I remember back in the day when I was doing the paranormal stuff, that many times these kind of places do have lots of spirit, because it's like they are not ready to leave yet. Or they have something that keeps them here, at least for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, it's kind of cool though. There's much because that deals sort of with tonight's topic. And for those that are joining, finding the live link underneath our page, we do say welcome. But tonight though, we're going to be talking about MMIW. Now, for most people that don't know about MMIW, that's missing murdered Indigenous women. Now, I sort of mentioned it to Eva, and Eva was again, even though she came out of the hospital, she was like, "What is that again? Can you sort of explain to me?" Now, you say though that you've learned quite a bit about MMIW.
Yes, missing murdered Indigenous women.
Yeah.
I found out that east of the Mississippi, it doesn't seem to have as much attention given to it as it does west of the Mississippi. But the more I thought about it, as we had talked earlier, the more I thought, well, that's where a lot of the Plains Indians, the Southwest Indians, Indigenous people, there was a lot more nations west of the Mississippi than there were east of the Mississippi. And that's where a lot of these missing, in particular, women would come up or happen. And I find it most fascinating because if they were murdered, quite often they would find, is there a problem? Is something going on? Okay. That the murdered ones, usually they could find a body. They wouldn't necessarily find who did it or why they did it, but they did find a body. Now, the missing ones, they were gone. There was no evidence of anything. And if, like I said, if they were murdered, you would have found a body. But these women are gone. And the speculation is that they were quite possibly used as slaves of some sort. And they may have been shipped overseas. They may have been shipped to someplace that they didn't tell anybody about. It's sad, just very, very sad. And that these people were treated that way. And one of the big people that would help with the missing ones was the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And not that they would admit it, but these priests, these nuns would take these girls and just ship them off somewhere, who knows where. Yeah. And of course, there was never any kind of record of where they might have gone or how they might have gone or anything like that. And that's so very sad. Not that they.
It is sad though, because it's not only the women though, it's also the children and also two-spirit people though it's actually happening to. And it is sad though. It's hitting like Turtle Island quite strong. It does also happen over in different countries, though, for people that are also Indigenous culture, and even with the Black community, it's also hitting the Black community also strong. Because like I've got a couple of reports here, right? And one of them though says the state still reports actually 5,712 cases actually in 2016, right? And then here in Canada, the numbers are higher. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. All right. But there's only 116 cases that are really active. Again, though, is if we look at the 5,712 in 2016, right? And again, there's only 116 cases that are active. What's going on with the rest of the cases? Like, that's the big thing, right? It seems like a lot of people do not care much, but still, that's a higher number. And they say that's a higher number than the white than the non-Indigenous community. So
I think that's the one thing also that really upsets me is the fact that people don't seem to care.
yeah,
How could you not care about these people? They're still people. Give me a break.
Yeah.
And, the more I had read about this, the more it's like, how can I say? The more it incensed me because it's like, first of all, like I say, no one cared. And are they doing anything about it? No, they're not.
No.
They're not doing anything about it.
No.
Or very little.
Yeah.
And I want to know why.
Yeah. Like last year for myself though, I did do my very first walk. And I was a drummer, I was up front. My face actually had the red handprint over top of it. And ever since then, I've been very active with this. Right. There has to be a lot more awareness going actually on. Just recently over here in Canada, Manitoba, there was one though that a lady went missing. And they're pretty sure actually since it's in Manitoba, they're pretty sure that the body is still actually in a landfill site. But they've actually found a couple other bodies actually on the landfill site. But they're also looking for this one lady's.
Yeah,
Right.
garbage sites, landfill sites. I'm trying to think of the other one. There were like 3 different ones, and I'm like, wow. Yeah, it makes sense though. Where else would you do something like construction sites? That's what I was thinking of. Why not? I mean, you never think to look there, or if you did, it's already been covered up, and you're not going to uncover it without a lot of excavations.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that really upsets me too is the fact that they are thrown into these garbage heaps. And garbage heaps can easily swallow up, for lack of a better term, these bodies with nothing left to show for it, even the bones, so to speak.
Yeah,
the bones are there,
and sometimes though the bones may even be more damaged than anything. You never really know. But again, though, this has been going actually on for a very, very long time.
According to the, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
According to the article that I read, it goes back into the 1850s.
Around that time period, yeah.
Around that time period. I don't know. Now, does that happen in Canada about that time?
It was around that time period, though. Is right when it actually started. But it wasn't as big as what it is now. Now the thing though is, since it did start at that time, right, the population at that time was not as big.
That's true.
Compared to here on Ontario Island. But still, why? Again, the question though is, why would you go and kill somebody? All right. That's the big question is, why would you kill somebody? It doesn't matter if they're Indigenous or even if they're Blacks or even if they're Two-Spirit people. Still, all right, there's a lot of hate actually out there.
Oh,
all right. So Eva, we were just talking about people going back to the 1800 time period of how long the missing for MMIW has been going actually on.
Well, I don't think they called it that back then, but it was there, and it was nothing for the churchmen, and it wasn't just the Catholic Church. The Dutch Reformed Church was also notorious for doing this, and these girls were quite often shipped back to Europe. Not so much the women, but the girls.
Yes.
And raised there and raised as, depending on the country they were in, raised as the that particular nationality.
Yeah.
So if they went to Spain, they were raised Spanish. If they went to Italy, they were raised Italian, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's still sad though, because again, those like even to date. So the records I have, those from 1980 to 1912, there is approximately over 1,081 still cases actually in that time period, and that's actually to do with MMIWC2, like the letter two, so not letter but the number two, and that's two spirit people. Again, though, the cases are still going actually up. Even to date, it's at, and they say though that it's higher in number, so it's actually 5% higher than non-Indigenous people here in Canada. Plus, also within the states, though, it's approximately like that right now. A lot of people are not talking about it, but there's a lot of marches going actually on, and the date for this though is May 5th. So. But again, though, it's really shocking to hear actually all the stuff that's going actually on. Again, though,
well, go ahead. Okay.
No, go.
Well, it amazes me that it is still going on. You would think that with all the other things that are happening, this would be something that would kind of fade into the background or fade out, so to speak. And yet still, you're telling me, and from what I've read, it's still happening.
Yeah.
And in the United States, it's still happening.
Yeah.
So this is not just here or just there. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that...
Go ahead.
And I think the part that really kind of amazes me is like in Asian countries, girls that disappear.
Yeah.
They just poof, they're gone.
Yeah.
And you would think, why?
Yeah. Yeah. For people that are more or less interested, there is links just below us right now, though, that you guys can be able to go to after the podcast and actually be able to look up. There's links there for the States and also for Canada. These are up to date links. Even if you want to be able to help out with money, so the way there's more finding, and that's one thing though, is whenever they're actually out there searching, it's not money from the government at all. It's the families getting together with their community to help try to find. Some of them are with the regional police, but most of the majority of them are not. And that's one thing that's very shocking though, is why is there not more support, again, those within the States with the government and also with Canada for the government? Yeah, people have been pushing for it. Justin Trudeau said, oh yeah, there's no stuff got to be done, but there's not enough being done. So what do you feel about that, Eva?
Well, besides the fact that it irritates the hell out of me that they are being so, what's the word I'm looking for? They just don't seem to give they don't seem to give a damn. Oh, there's a lady missing. Well, too bad.
Yeah.
And it very, very much upsets me because it's like, these are people too. They're not, they're not anything, they're not animals. They're not, whatever you want to call them. These are people. And the fact that the government doesn't want to do anything, the provincial or, well, the state police or the police, they don't seem to want to do anything. Why? I want to know why. Yeah. And there seems to be no answer. I could not find anything as to why they are not doing it. I don't know if you did or not, but I couldn't.
Yeah. There's so much going actually on. Again, though, is like for me though, I just find it hard to believe though that even family members have to search for their own, right?
Yeah.
It's not like people going out in the woods or even in forest going missing, right? They have to have more support. But again, those it's families, so they actually have to fight for their rights.
And I don't understand that. I can't. I mean, if that were, I hate to say it this way, or I hate to say it, period. If that were a white person, you don't think that they wouldn't have tons of people out there looking for them?
So true.
There was a case Oh, this was maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
There was a Indigenous woman and a white woman, girls both. And they came up missing, and no one, there was, well, the police were out in full force trying to find this white woman and did nothing to find the Indigenous woman. And there was a big stink at that time. I remember that. And they were trying to figure out why they wouldn't be doing anything and there seemed to be no explanation, and they were just kind of ignoring it. And nobody could, and it's like, that's pathetic. That is truly pathetic.
No, and it's very hurtful though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main thing though, is so many people, they look actually at cultures, right? And it's like, no, there's a good song though I've heard, and in the song though, it's an Indigenous song. It's not a beat song, but the song is called Why. And in the lyrics though, it says, even if you're like, do not judge people because of their culture, basically, right? Their race or anything else. We're all equal. And again, though, is if you guys are interested, there's links down below. Check them out. Love to actually get you to check them out. If not, there's links. I'll be able to post that when I repost this whole show a little bit better. And yeah. So again, those MMIW. We want to hear from you guys, even if it's in recording, past recording. Let us know. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear. So, all right. So, anything else, Eva?
Not really. You?
No, not really. Except though, just pay attention to the news. For people that are actually in Canada, instead of paying attention to your local news, turn on APTN. That's the Indigenous Television Network channel. 6 o'clock till 6:30 is actually news. You get to learn quite a bit actually from the Indigenous community. I don't know if there's any Indigenous channels down there in the States. Is there?
Not that I've been aware of. When you mention it, I was clicking through my mind. There could be out west, I would say, more of a chance of an Indigenous station than there is here. I think I don't know why that would be, but yeah. Let me take a look, see.
Yep, no problem. Well, Eva's doing that though. Again, though, is I'll sort of let you know statistics. So again, those from 1980 to 1912, there's approximately in that time period there was approximately 1,181 Indigenous MMI cases. And again, the numbers are still going actually up. In the States, though, is also it's approximately that number there also. So that's the main thing. The best thing to do though is actually get involved with your own community. If you do not have anything that is supportive for the Indigenous community, find links so that actually you can be able to help out with. I know. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you finish.
Go right ahead.
There is one. It's called First Nations Experience, and it is the first and the only national broadcast television network in the U.S. exclusively devoted to Native American and World Indigenous content. And its call letters are FNX. Okay. First Nations Experience. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yep. No, that's awesome. I wasn't sure if the States actually had like television down there, but it sounds like that there is, and also there's radio stations. So again, is get active within your own community.
Okay, where are you?
The paranormal can happen at any time, so that's why our Etsy store is always open. Get your paranormal items from cleansing to protection to attraction, all available now on our Etsy store. Search Haunting Live.
So again, those for people that are actually within Ontario, or even follow Haunting Live podcast directly themselves, be able to check out their live video that they're going to be doing this coming Saturday, which is actually May 6th, or else you can catch it in recap underneath their page underneath YouTube, which is Haunting Live podcast. We'll be actually out live from Stratford, Ontario for the very first Indigenous market for this year.
And then come September, we're going to be out there with Cedar Hill drumming dancers. So Eva, you were just looking up something else also.
Yeah, I was just curious. I went to the Wikipedia, gotta love that place, and I was curious as to where this First Nations Experience television station was out of, and it's out of San Bernardino, California. But there's other affiliates throughout the United States: Alaska, Arizona, California, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Utah, Virginia, and Washington.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating. Like I say, those are not actual full stations, but they're affiliated in a way. And it just, it's like, wow, I didn't know they were here.
Yeah, again, those, like I was saying to Eva sort of on our break, though, it's very surprising, though, because the more, though, that you talk about this, the more you get to learn, right? And that's one thing that's really, really good about this. So again, though, is what are you going to be doing actually on May 6th? May 6th yourself? Sorry, not May 6th, but May 5th. Sorry, that's the date. What are you doing on May 5th yourself?
Cinco de Mayo. I'll be having tacos.
Tacos. Okay. All right. Will you be also thinking about MMIW?
I will now.
Yeah.
Is May 5th that their day?
Yep, that's the date, which is actually May 5th, and May 6th is the thing out in Stratford, Ontario. So again, though, is
you're not going to watch the coronation?
No. So for those who in the Waterloo region here of Ontario, Canada, let you know, MMI Day has been pushed back to approximately the 16th. Even though it's technically supposed to be on the 5th, it's going to be pushed back to the 16th. The reason why is because there was not enough funding for the walk. So again, they're looking at May 16th within the Waterloo region for that. So come on out if you guys want to be able to find out some more information. Check out for more information underneath Healing of Seven Generations Facebook page. So we have to really push this, and we do say thanks a lot to everybody that's joined in. And Eva, thank you. And I'm sorry about hearing your falls that you've taken.
As they say, shice happens.
Yeah. So, all right, go ahead.
I will heal. It's no big thing. At least there were no broken bones.
That's good. So, and for people that have been sort of paying attention about my mother, my mom, though, she's doing a little bit better. But the thing, though, is my mother has full dementia. To a certain extent within her area. Now, the thing, though, is what we're looking for getting her, though, is a long-term care. So please still send that positive energy to my mother and also to my family. We're going through a lot right now. My sibling, which is much older than me, we're trying to find actually a long-term care. We've got a couple choices, but the hospital, since we're in the hospital right now, they're allowing us extra choices altogether. Even we were saying, though, that the pricing actually in the States is higher than Canada. But yes,
the place that I was at, if I didn't have any kind of whatever, it would be $6,000 a month. And I don't know what that translates into Canadian dollars.
So 6,000, you're roughly looking between 650 to 700.
Okay,
that's what you're looking for. So
one other thing I neglected to mention, you asked me at the beginning of the show what I experienced in the there were quite a few dementia patients there, And quite often as I walked, well, I was pushed down the hallway. I was in a wheelchair. And you'd hear somebody talking and having a conversation, almost like being on a phone. And I made the remark to one of the Cenas, and they said, "Oh, there's no one there, and there is no phone." And apparently that's not an unusual thing to have these people talk to someone.
Yeah.
Now, I connected with my one friend was involved also with the paranormal. And apparently that is not unusual with dementia patients, and they actually see someone there. So that's an interesting side note.
Yeah. And it's true though. You know that their minds go back to their childhood, or even actually as a baby. So they can actually be able to pick up more energy than most people though, and it's so true. So again, those before we wrap up the show, is if you guys want to be able to find out some more information, we're gonna have some more information down below for you guys all together, or even be able to check out your own region for the Indigenous community and find out what's going actually on. There are a lot of marches. There's a lot of groups going actually on within the Waterloo region. On Tuesday night, there's drumming. Go right ahead.
Okay. Can do.
All right. So
thank you, everyone. It's good to be back. It's good to see everyone.
Yeah, and it's good seeing you also. So, all right.
I'm glad to be back.
We will see everybody later, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okie dokie.